2025 is going to be a wild year, and the mainstream news is not going to be always accurate. So you're going to want to have this station on, I hope. And please donate and subscribe so we can stay on. John Buchan is a young consultant. I suspect from chatting with him, he's more on the conservative side. He joins me today, and my question to you, John, is what should Poilievre do? We're going to have an election this year. Whether it's the spring, hopefully the spring, but maybe the fall if he holds on till ever. What should Poilievre do when he's Prime Minister?
He's going to have a tough road because he's going to have, I think, a difficult time with the media. He won't have as much grace as Trudeau had. He might get a honeymoon of maybe 8 weeks to 8 months, not 8 years as Trudeau seemed to get. So he's going to have to sort of push through that. I think we're heading into our hardest economic times. So he's going to have to inspire Canadians while making tough policy decisions, while also being under the gun basically right away. I think people will expect things to change very quickly, so he'll have to measure expectations. But well,
maybe the thing to change quickly, though, would be just even the carbon tax. That'd make a big change. Now, I've read the last few weeks in the mainstream news, columnists saying, oh, he doesn't even have a platform. We don't even know what he's going to do. I always thought I had a pretty good idea, but tell me, what else is he going to do?
Well, I think there's a lot of on the right. I think a lot of people are wanting to see him defund CBC, which I think might actually spur on a lot of independent media and allow people to sort of rise up. I think if you take the national funded media out of it, you might see that might actually help Canadians move past issues. Because part of the problem is I think that we a lot of times we're not getting fully informed, as you mentioned at the start of the show here. So I think that possibly resetting the media landscape is in order, and I think that will help an exponential. I think it'll be a bit of a renaissance for Canadians because, as I said, right now we're getting one style of news.
What about oil and gas? Premier Smith was on this show a while ago, and she's very hopeful that oil and gas. I mean, the limits will be removed. The federal limits say you can't do this. And that will be, as you say, a renaissance in that industry.
Yeah, I think pipelines. Trump's indicated that he's bullish on oil. I think that there's lots to go that way. I think that the carbon tax is massive because that obviously takes a lot of burden off of transportation. All the goods, as Pierre says, if you get it, it comes on a truck basically. Like there's the exponential burden that the carbon tax puts on. I think a lot of the bureaucratic red tape that we have that right now is sort of holding down the oil industry. He'll have to address that, and that's part of the tough conversations he's going to have because Canadians have expectations about the climate, and they might not be as measured as they need to be. Because again, if we're going to go with social programs and we're going to do a lot of spending, then we have to use our resources to the best of our ability.
Is Poilievre going to go with a lot of spending on social programs, do you think?
To be honest, I think that he might have to for a few years. I don't think he'll be able to come in and balance the budget right away. I think it's going to be pretty tough to shut all the taps off, but I think after a year or two, you might see a more balanced budget. It's hard. I've lost faith a little bit with the right and the left in the last maybe 15 years. They both seem to spend a lot and all over.
Well, you know what? They'll listen to you on this show. So, John Buchan,
I hope so.
Thank you very much. 3 minutes. To those of you who have subscribed and donated, a heartfelt thank you. You're keeping us on the air. If you're watching and you haven't, please try to do so, because 4 years ago we started this show because there needed to be independent analysis. Now more than ever, with the Online Harms Act, once that gets into law, it's been passed once by the House, there are going to be hundreds of bureaucrats censoring the news in Canada, censoring this show. We need to keep it on the air. Thanks for your support.